Hey y'all, this video is part 4 of my memory keeping my trip to Ireland and London in my A6 Stalogy. So I went ahead and put the shamrock washi tape on either side of my date covers because I thought it was looking a little plain up there, so I just kind of wanted to add something to it. So we are on Tuesday the 16th of May, and we had breakfast at the castle that we stayed at. It was, like a little bed and breakfast place. So we had like eggs and ham, and I think they had black pudding, but I decided not to try the black pudding. That came with a few different meals, but I don't think any of us really were brave enough to try it. So if you can hear a motorcycle in the background, I'm sorry. There's like a kid that, like, every day this summer he's gotten on his motorcycle and gone up and down the street, and I thought I was going to be avoiding him this afternoon, but it's not happening, so I hope my microphone's not picking up too much of it. So, so after breakfast, we packed up and drove to Dublin, and then my uncle and his partner dropped off the car, and my brother and I got to explore Dublin a little bit by ourselves, which was really fun. We stopped at a shopping center called, I think it was Jervis, and it was kind of like a mini mall, and it had like a grocery store attached to it. It was, I think, 3 stories, and that was really cool. We were just kind of like wandering around, and we got stopped by a sales lady that was selling like a body scrub, like a sugar scrub or something like that, and a body butter, and it was one of those ladies that all you had to do was look at her and she grabbed your arm and kind of pulled you into her little sales pitch. So that was interesting. And then after that, we went to lunch at a place called the Woolen Mills, and that was really good. I had the nachos and then I had tea, and that was the first restaurant that the teapot was like cast iron. It was like an Asian style teapot, and it was very heavy, but it was really cool to have tea from there. So that was really good. After that, my uncle had gotten a cold while we were on the trip, so he decided to just go back to the hotel room, him and his partner, to take a nap, and then my brother and I got to explore Dublin some more. We went to the Trinity College, but we didn't realize that, because my brother wanted to see the Book of Kells, and we didn't realize we needed to book ahead to get tickets. There were a lot of museums and stuff that you had to like book ahead online, maybe like the day before or like the morning of, to be able to go through the exhibit. So we ended up not being able to go to the Book of Kells this day, but we go the next day. So we just kind of wandered around. And we found a store. We found one in Cork, and then they also had one here in Dublin that was called the Flying Tiger, and it was just kind of like I don't even know how to describe it. I would say like a Dollar General or something, just kind of a weird little shop that we really enjoyed, and we wandered around there, and I turned and looked, and there was this really cute little dragon bank. It's like a piggy bank, but it's a dragon, and so I decided I needed it. So I went ahead and bought it, and I think that's my favorite purchase from the trip, is my little dragon bank. I think I'm going to name her sometime. I just haven't decided on a name for her yet. And then they had a Gino's Gelato on our way back to the hotel, and so we decided to stop and get some gelato for dinner. I mean, it was probably like 3 o'clock in the afternoon when we had gelato. So so I got the Oreo ice cream. That was really good. My brother got the Oreo ice cream or gelato last time, and he really enjoyed it, so I went for the Oreo this time. And then we went back to our hotel room and just kind of chilled for a bit. And I sat and read my book. I think we both just kind of chilled and read our books for a little bit before going out to drinks. I was reading a book called Agony of the Leaves, which is, I think, book 13 in a tea murder mystery series. So all the books are tea, or the titles are tea themed. And then I knew I didn't have much left to write down on this day, so I went ahead and kind of filled it in with this banner washi tape. Next, we went to a bar called Dis and Dat. It was a new bar. I don't know how long it had been open, maybe like a couple months. And I got what was called the Tooth Fairy. I don't drink too often, but I think I was drinking kind of most nights. While we were gone, I was just having like one drink. And so this night I had the Tooth Fairy, and it had dragon fruit tea and then peach and raspberry flavorings. I don't remember what else was in it, but it was good. I had one. It was sweet, but it wasn't too sweet, so I may have been able to handle a second one, but one was good, so it was really good. I would get that again if I ever went back there. And then we went to dinner at a restaurant called Red Torch Ginger, which was it was a Thai restaurant. It was okay. It wasn't the best thing I had. It was kind of bland. I had never had Thai food before, so I wasn't for sure what to expect, but it was just kind of fishy and just a little bit bland, so it wasn't my favorite meal. I was kind of not feeling good after having drinks, because there were a lot of people like smoking around us, and I'm not used to being around people that are like chain smokers, so I was kind of getting nauseous from all the like cigarette smoke. So yeah, and then the last thing I'm going to mark down is that we stayed at the Temple Bar Hotel, which was a very nice hotel, and I enjoyed it. It was on, I think, Temple Bar Street, I think is what it's called, or Temple Bar District, something like that. So now we're on to Wednesday. We had breakfast at our hotel, and they had really good chocolate croissants. I think most hotels had really good chocolate croissants, but this one was, I think, my favorite out of all of them. And yeah, they were just really good. When I came home, I was a little sad that I didn't have chocolate croissants in the house to eat for breakfast, so I may need to get the stuff to make them. So we were able to book tickets to go to the Book of Kells. That was one of the things my brother was really interested in seeing, was the Book of Kells, so we went to go see that. And when you got there, there was like you could download a museum app, I think is what it was, and they had different audio tours for the museum, or for the Book of Kells, and so we kind of listened to those. It was kind of hard to listen to them and move around because it was really packed in there, so I ended up just kind of walking and trying to read the plaques, but you kind of just felt like you were kind of pushed through with all the people in there. But yeah, I think everybody else really enjoyed it, and my brother enjoyed it, and I was like, okay, it's an old book, and I don't know, it just wasn't much my thing. They had like a library that you walked through, but they were taking the books down to like clean them or something, so it was kind of an empty library area. But from there we went to the St. Patrick's Cathedral, and we had a really great tour guide. She was like very easy to understand. Her Irish accent wasn't too like thick that you couldn't understand her. She was like really nice, and yeah, she was just a really great tour guide. But walking through there, my knee started hurting really bad and started like popping every time I took a step. So we ended up taking an Uber back to our hotel, and they got me some ice so I could kind of rest my knee and keep it up. So I read a few chapters in the book I was reading. And then next we got ready to go have afternoon tea at a tea room called the Old Music Shop. It was like a hotel, and it was in a hotel, and it was really nice. It was kind of confusing because there was like three different entrances, but two of them you couldn't, they were like locked, and so you had to find like the right entrance. You had to go into the hotel, past the front desk, and into like the dining area. So it was a little confusing, but it was nice. I think it was my favorite afternoon tea of the whole trip. And towards the end of our meal, there was this guy that walked into the dining room and came up to our table, and he said, "Well, it's not every day you meet a hotel owner, but here I am." And we were like, "Oh, okay. Hi." And we chatted with him for a few minutes, and he told us about the story of how he came to be the owner of that hotel, and it was, I don't know, very confusing and kind of all over the place. And it was like, okay, I don't know how much of this is true or whatever. So, but he went around and talked to all the different tables, and he was fairly nice. So next I ran out of room, and I still had more stuff to journal. And in one of my previous videos, one of my lovely subscribers reminded me that tip-ins existed. And so I pulled out this, it says postcard on it. It's like a piece of paper from a notepad that I bought several years ago. Probably from like a TJ Maxx or something. I don't know. It's just been sitting in my closet. So I pulled out this because of the kind of postcard theme to it. And yeah, so I continued journaling on this card. So the first thing is we went to the Guinness Storehouse after the afternoon tea. That thing was 7 stories tall, and at the top there's it's like a bar, like tasting area, and all the walls are like glass, like full glass windows, so you can see like the whole city of Dublin when you're up there, and drink a pint of Guinness. I tried it. It was not my thing. I'm not much of a ale drinker, I guess. So yeah, the Guinness was not my thing. But afterwards we went through the gift shop and bought some stuff, and I went to the cashier and was checking out, and the guy's like, "So, where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, I'm from the States." And he was like, "Okay, like what part?" And I said, "Well, I'm from Oklahoma." And he goes, "Cool, Oklahoma City or Tulsa?" And I just kind of stood there and stared at him, and I was like, from Tulsa?" And he was like, "Okay." I really like geography, so it was really cool to have like a guy, like an Irishman from Ireland, know where Tulsa, Oklahoma was. It was cool, a little confusing, but it was really cool. So after that, we went back to our hotel, and then my brother and I did our final souvenir shopping because this was the last day of our trip, so we needed to pick up a few things for like our siblings and our mom. So yeah, so we did that, and then my brother picked out a spot to go to dinner called the Bank, which was like an old Irish bank, and it was closed, and they converted it into this really cool restaurant. So we had drinks there because we didn't know where else to go to have drinks. I had the Gin Mule, which they used to be called like Moscow Mules, but I know a lot of people have renamed them recently, so I can understand why. But I think those are my favorite, is the different like mules that people do, or that restaurants do. And so we had our drinks, and then I had the Supreme of chicken for dinner, and it wasn't that great. Like the Supreme of chicken that I got in was it Glasgow, or where was it? Galway. The one we got in Galway. That one was great. This one was a little bland, and I was just kind of sad. It was like our last meal, and it wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be, but it was fine. And then after that, we were walking back to our hotel, and we were kind of walking down the street, and my brother like looked down one of the side streets, and he was like, "Oh, the gelato place is down there." And I was like, do we need to have gelato one more time? And he was like, well, I mean, if others want gelato, like, I don't want to get gelato just because I want it. And I was like, if we stop and get ice cream, we're like, I'll get ice cream. Like, I don't really say no to ice cream or gelato or whatever. So, my uncle and his partner were down for going to get some ice cream, or get the gelato. So we went and did that. I had the Kinda Bueno, which is like, I guess it's like the brand that does Kinder eggs. It's the company that it's that company, and they do some type of candy bar in the UK that's called Kinda Bueno. And it was good. I liked it. I think out of the three, the coffee flavor was my favorite, but the Kinda Bueno was good too. The Oreo didn't really have like a ton of Oreo flavor. It was more of like a cream flavor with a little bit of chocolate, but yeah, the coffee was definitely my favorite. So now I'm just decorating the back of my tip-in. Because it was just white and plain, I decided it needed a little something. So I found this full box in my sticker book. It was from the St. Patrick's Day kit from Triple Threat Planner. It was like a Irish clogging, clogging kind of dance theme to it. And this is just one of the boxes I had left over. I've had it for a couple years now. And then I'm just kind of layering it with other stickers and some washi tape and just kind of trying to make it look cute. Okay, and now we're on to Thursday, and this was our last breakfast at the hotel, and we kind of got to sleep in a little bit since we didn't really have to be anywhere until I think we had to leave at noon to go catch our flight. But yeah, so we had breakfast at the hotel and just kind of had a bit of a leisure morning. And then my uncle had a friend message him that was from the Dublin area. And he was like, oh, if you're in Dublin, you need to go do this, this, and this. So we were like, okay, we can maybe do a couple of those things. So we went to see the Molly Malone statue. I don't know the history of her, but there's just this lady that's like pushing a cart, and there's a statue of her. In Ireland, you kind of have to know where she is to kind of find her. I mean, you can put it into like Google Maps and do the walking distance, and it'll tell you where it is. That's what we did. So there was like a group of school kids that were there checking her out before we got to take pictures with her or of her. And then we just kind of did like a final walk around Dublin, and we found this like cute little indoor market that had a bunch of different shops on the inside. And I found a like kind of wind chime for my mom because of her taking care of my Chihuahua Abby for 12 days, I think is what it was. I decided I really needed to find her something really cool to bring back, so I was happy I found that. And then after that, we got on a plane to come back home. We had a 9-hour flight to Texas. So when I was writing this down, I misspelled Texas. I put Texis, and I was like, that's not right. What did I do? And it was like, oh yeah, it's Texas. I don't know why I put an I in Texas. That was kind of confusing for a bit. But yeah, so we flew back to Texas. We had, I had chicken while we were on the plane. Not the best meal I had, but it was better than some meals that I had. So, it was airplane food. It got you through. So, I read, 17 or 18 chapters of my book and basically just finished it It was basically like the second half, maybe a little more. And because like we had 9 hours, so what am I gonna do besides just finish this book? So I could have watched a movie, but I just didn't really feel like it. So I just went for finishing my book. And then we had I think we had like a 3 hour layover in Texas. So we had dinner at a place called Papacita's Cantina, which was like a Tex-Mex place, and it wasn't that great. It was pretty bad. Not a place I would really want to go back to. It was just, I don't know, just not that great. The flavoring was just kind of not really there. It was, I don't know. It was just one of those meals I don't know how to describe. I know it wasn't great. So, and then we finally got in about midnight that night. Yeah, definitely a late night. And then when we got off the plane, it took like 30 minutes for them to get like our bags on the conveyor belt to us. Like we were all just kind of like standing waiting for our bags for like 30 minutes, but we finally got them. So on Friday, I slept till about 1 p.m. I think I got in bed around 2 a.m. and then just went to bed and just slept and just kind of didn't care because I was like, I don't have anywhere to be today, so I'm just not going to. And then I probably slept too long because then I just kind of felt blah the rest of the day. And then we did gyros for dinner. We had family that was in from out of town, so my mom decided to pick up gyros from a local Mediterranean place that we have. And then I edited and uploaded the next day's video, and that's basically all I did this day. When my mom texted my brother and checked in on him earlier in the day, he said that he had done some laundry, like a couple loads of laundry, and then went out and ran some errands. And so I was like, okay. I was definitely a bum today and just didn't do much. I don't know where he got his energy from, but I did not have any, so it was just kind of a chill day and just kind of spending it with family that was in from out of town. And then on Saturday, my brother had texted me and asked if I would want to go to the Renaissance Fair with him and his friends on Saturday, and so I got my outfit ready for the next day, and then I just went to bed because I know we had to be up super early to meet with his friends because it's about, I think it's like an hour drive away, but yeah, they were kind of meeting up early to hang out for a bit and then go over. So yeah, we went to the Renaissance Fair. It was fun. It was nice to walk around, not be sitting in an airplane or anything like that, but it was really nice. I enjoyed it. We kind of got separated from his friends, which happened last year too. We were with them for a bit and then just somehow got separated, so they kind of break into groups because it was like, I don't know, 15 people or so, so that tends to happen sometimes. And yeah, so I spent way too much money. There's a ceramic shop that my brother and I both like, and I spent too much money. I bought like a teapot and I think 2 different mugs, and I mean I love them. I do. I just know I need to like kind of save up money for spending there because I love that ceramic shop so much. I think my brother got like 3 or 4 mugs that he really liked. So the brother I went with to the Renaissance Fair is my youngest brother, and then the one I went to Ireland and London with is my oldest brother. So this is a different brother that I went with. And then let's see here. That night I published my what stationery I packed for my trip video on YouTube. And I think that's all I marked for the day. I don't remember what we did for dinner. So yeah, I didn't write it down. And then I kind of had a little bit of space left over, and I was trying to figure out how to fill it. I just kind of wasn't really sure what to fill it with, so I end up grabbing one of the glitter headers from the kit just to help take up some space. And the last thing I'm going to mark for this video is that we had family dinner on Sunday. And yeah, it was nice. We had, we had like more than usual just because of having family in from out of town. And yeah, it was a nice day. So that is the last thing that I mark in this. And then I'm going to do a flip through of all the pages. I really enjoyed this trip to London and Ireland, and it's something I would definitely do again if I, save up the money for it. And yeah, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!